Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the Pierce the Canvas podcast. This, of course, is Pierce, once again, back for the first time in a couple of weeks. I've been down with the sickness, just got over it a few days ago, so back in action. Non-COVID, nothing like that. Just a little bit down for the last couple of weeks, but we're all good and back in action, so I thought, of course, we should do a podcast for what was a pretty darn good show, minus a couple things I'm going to get into pretty quickly here, but we're coming off one of the more kind of dull episodes from last week of Dynamite. I could definitely say that this one picked up a lot more as far as getting stories kind of pushed forward. We got to see a little bit more of an exciting segment between Sting and Darby Allin, even though it was super short. We got to see MJF and Chris Jericho wrestle as a tag team for the first time. Again, last week we found out that MJF and Chris Jericho are going to be the official tag team of the Inner Circle since they won the three-way match. But yeah, first things first here. I think this might have been somewhat territorial, but TNT went bonkers for the first 15 minutes of the show, man. So the show comes on, it starts, as usual, you have the AEW intro, as per usual. You have the fireworks, the announcers bringing in the show, announcing the first match, which was Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer. And I was really looking forward to the match. Eddie Kingston comes out for his entrance, and boom, TNT literally fell off the air. And, of course, when these types of things happen, you kind of just think it's happening to you. So I go on social media, and there's a lot of people, flipping out. So the show's literally on a black screen 2 minutes into it for about 9 minutes straight. And then when it comes back on the air, it was so messed up. It came back on the air at the very end of the Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer. All I saw was Eddie Kingston pinning Lance Archer for the win. And I'm like, okay, whatever. They got the show back on the road. I freaking missed the first match, but whatever. But then the show starts skipping all over the place. It goes back to the beginning of the show, back to the intro that we already watched. And then it starts skipping into the middle of the match and going forwards and backward. I've never ever actually seen anything like that ever. Broadcast television ever. And like I said, it was not just happening to me. Again, I think the severity of it, or even B, whether or not you saw this or not, was kind of territorial. It depends on where you might have been watching it from, or what exact cable provider through which you were watching it. Because I was looking through Twitter feed, and there was basically 50% was people complaining about the same thing I was experiencing, and the other 50% are just talking about the show as usual. So unfortunately, I was one of the ones who basically completely missed the first match. Again, all I could tell you is I saw at the very end, Eddie Kingston is wrapping tape around his hands, and he goes for the cover on Lance Archer for the win. And I noticed, again, I mentioned, after that, the show started skipping all over the place, going to the beginning and then going into the middle of the match, back to the beginning, back to the end of the match, just insanity. At one point, I did see that Eddie Kingston, or rather Lance Archer threw Eddie Kingston to the floor from the apron real hard. So at least I got to see one spot from the match. When everything pretty much got back to normal, it was in the very middle of Jon Moxley's promo. Thankfully, from this point on, everything was cool. So again, I barely have a recap for the first match, because frankly, I couldn't see it. Because TNT, I don't know what the hell was going on over there, but, oh, God, it's just terrible. Terrible television. But anyway, and it's also funny, I said, it kind of came back in the middle of Jon Moxley's promo, and he's talking about how he likes to have sex in the morning. Whatever, tells the Elite to saddle up for the Beach Break 6-man tag match. It was just too much going in my head. I couldn't really pay attention to the promo. On one hand, I was thinking about, what the hell is going on with TNT? On the other hand, I'm like, did he just say he wants to have sex in the morning? That's all I hear. And so I was fairly distracted. I didn't catch the whole promo, but I do know it was to promote next week's Beach Break match, the 6-man tag. like I said, this is the point at which everything got back on the rails for me, and I was able to enjoy the rest of the show, which was great. I liked it overall. I didn't really have a problem with anything throughout the show. Maybe there's a couple not so exciting matches here and there, but anyway, after the Moxley promo, we cut to Sting and Darby Allin, and they do what I feel like they maybe should have been doing, longer than they have been. Instead of getting Sting just in the arena with his baseball bat and just like staring at somebody like week after week after week. I mean, I guess, was it last week he actually attacked, I think it was Ricky Starks with the bat. So we actually got to see some action last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. But this week they're doing like a video inside of a like wrecked abandoned building or whatever, and we just see Sting bashing the hell out of windows in this abandoned building with his baseball bat. And he says that he and Darby are hoodlums. Sting is really getting influenced by this Darby guy. They're hoodlums, and he kind of just hypes up their match for a Revolution. It was a little fun segment. I liked it. This led us into, again, MJF and Chris Jericho's first match as the official tag team of the Inner Circle. They face the Varsity Blondes, which is Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. MJF cuts a short promo before the match, says he needs to talk to Sammy after the match. I think because Wardlow got involved in one of Sammy's matches, so Sammy's like completely pissed at MJF. MJF also proceeds to make fun of Griff Garrison, says like, "Oh, you're the guy that's never on TV." I think he like makes fun of his hair, like the fact that he's blonde or whatever. And then Griff Garrison, pissed off, knocks down MJF, goes after him for a while. A little into the match, MJF and Chris Jericho get heat. Griff Garrison comes back with a big body drop and an elbow, and proceeded to do his whole comeback, which led to a near fall. Got a great missile dropkick from Pillman to MJF, and he just goes to Jericho and kills him with a super kick. Pillman went for a springboard. I guess maybe like that could have been his finisher or something. Unfortunately, it was met with a Judas effect, and I don't know if you had heard about the kind of botched lion salt that was performed by Chris Jericho last week. Had everybody worried that, he's getting too old, he can't do the lion salt anymore. We could throw all of that away, man. He pulled a picture-perfect lion salt, and actually used that as his finisher. He won the match with it. So just to show us that, listen, man, this lion salt ain't gone nowhere. You still got it. So after the match, it's obvious that there's a whole lot of tension between Sammy and MJF. Just getting into each other's faces, and Inner Circle needs to break it up. So next we get a Pac promo, which I always love. Like, he's kind of like Darby in that he has his own like promo formats. Like, it's him going nuts in like a hotel room or whatever. You see him on the TV all pissed off and stuff. Anyways, talking about he's pissed how Kenny has been as a champion. Says he acts like it's his own business. He's manipulating people with Don Callis. After what was done to Penta, Pac and Phoenix are going to exemplify the meaning of brotherhood next week at Beach Break. Again, as we know, it will be Rey Fenix, Kenny Omega, and Pac versus... it's going to be... Pac, Rey Fenix, and oh my god, it's like slipping my mind right now. John Moxley, holy shit, I forgot about John Moxley. Not Kenny Omega. Pac, Phoenix, and John Moxley versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. That is going to main event next week's Beach Break event. So that's going to be a lot of fun. In the next segment, we have Cody Rhodes responding to Shaq. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't even realize Shaq cut a little promo on Cody Rhodes. I actually had no idea, but he did, and said that he's willing to fight him anywhere, anytime. He makes fun of his bleach blonde hair, says he looks like a girl or something like that. He says, you know what, how about we make this match for March? So obviously that will be during Revolution, which the show was moved a week ahead or so, like 9 days or so ahead, due to competition from other pay-per-views. So they decided to move their show to March 7th, which is a Sunday. So we're going to get a Sunday night AEW pay-per-view for the first time. And before Cody comes out, we see a recap of Jade Cargill talking about how she'll beat up Brandy when she's back. You know, all the stuff that we saw last week, that crazy fight between her and Red Velvet. So Tony Schiavone comes to the ring and asks Cody to respond to Shaq and Jade Cargill as well after her comments last week. So Cody says, you know what, I'm just going to do promo. He says, regularly it would be Cody and Brandy versus Jade and Shaq, but, it's not going to work out because Brandy's pregnant. And then a baby daddy chant ensued and kind of cracked up Cody a little bit. Cody says that Arn's been hard on Cody for being too competitive, says that he should be the one to decide what Cody does at Revolution. So Arn takes the mic, says he might contradict himself a few times, says that Cody's about to be a dad, which is in the forefront of his mind. He didn't say forefront of his mind. He said some crazy other thing that meant the same thing. He's like, at the forefront of your lobe plexus or some shit like that. Whatever. Arn wants to give him advice. June 29th, 1985. May I mention, June 29th is my birthday, so I was like, hey, shout out for my birthday. Arn saw Dusty enter a ring with Tully Blanchard. They had their match at that time. Immediately after, Dusty leaves cross country. What for? June 30th, 1985, the birth of his son, Cody. Arn says that this match with Shaq is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Says for 19 years he dominated his sport, proved he's a world-class athlete. Arn says that Jade dominates every room she enters. Arn says he's seen something the last 2 weeks, which is hard to explain. And then we wait around, and then we hear music. And who's to come out but Red Velvet? So Arn says that she and Cody both got fire. Red Velvet takes a mic and says that she's fed up with Jade attacking her, watching Brandy get disrespected. Everyone knows Cody would never lay a hand on Jade. But we know who will, and it's Red Velvet. And she says she's about to stir her bitch ass up. Because, she's from your mama's kitchen, right? And Arn Anderson approves. He's over the moon about this woman. And yeah, so that's looking like that's what it'll be. It looks like we're going to get Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill. What? But we're getting it, man. Or at least, to be fair, after the segment, Cody did say, oh, the ball's in your court now, Shaq. So it's not like officially booked, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to be seeing. Next up, we get a small preview for the wedding next week between Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. Wasn't much. Penelope basically just saying she's excited to marry the man of her dreams. Kip basically said the same stuff. And we are all cordially invited to the wedding featuring the best man Miro as well as Charles the Butler. So that's going to be lots of fun. AEW's first wedding. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, wrestling weddings don't tend to go undisturbed. So we'll see what kind of antics are played out next week. Really excited. Wonder if maybe they'll open the show with it. Next up, we get a pretty interesting match. We get Ryan Nemeth versus Hangman Adam Page. In case you don't know, Ryan Nemeth is the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler from, obviously, WWE. And this guy's like, he just looks so much freaking like him, man. It's kind of funny. But the match comes off last week's rejection from Adam Page to Dark Order. Of course, they're awaiting his response to see if he'll join. He just said he can't. He's been in the group dynamics before, and it just never worked out for him. So he's not going to bother going through that again. He's best off on his own. And so the match begins, and Early on, Hangman Adam Page kicks Nemeth's head off with a big boot. Not too long into the match, we see Big Money Matt Hardy comes out, and Ryan Nemeth at the time that Matt Hardy came out was like holding Hangman in rest holds and kind of dominating. So we didn't know right off the bat if he was there for Hangman or if he's here interested in Nemeth, maybe to recruit him to the private party, whatever thing that's going on there. Anyway, so Matt Hardy's just watching on. Little bit into the match, Nemeth hit a big spike DDT. After a while, Hangman comes back, hits a buckshot for the win. Match didn't go too long. You know, it was just a enhancement match, obviously. So Matt Hardy's happy for Hangman's win. He's about to take his leave. He's just like, listen, man, you know, whatever, good match. And he's just about to take his leave. But Hangman's like, dude, like, why are you here, man? Come on back. You know, explain yourself. So Tony Schiavone decides to get into the ring to investigate what Matt Hardy's doing. Matt says, you know, I'm not here to create a scene. I want to be in the Hangman's corner to cheer him on. Says that he seems lost and conflicted. Matt was there, you know, on his team for the Stadium Stampede. Says that he saw how much he loved his Elite brothers, but unfortunately they all turned on him. Matt says that he doesn't want anything from Hangman. He wants Hangman to know that he's a good person. Matt hates seeing Hangman dressing all alone in a small room, right by catering. Matt says, I got this big luxurious room. How about, you know, you dress in my room instead? So I guess that's his way of making Hangman feel better. He offers him a large dressing room. Great. Next up was probably the match of the night for me personally. I thought this was fantastic. Dax Harwood versus Jungle Boy. The stipulation for this match is that Luchasaurus will be handcuffed to Cash Wheeler and Tully Blanchard to ensure that they will not interfere in the match. And there's a little like promo package that was done before the match, and Jungle Boy says that if FTR are strapped to Luchasaurus, it'll just be him and Dax one-on-one. It was a little bit more than that. It was actually a pretty cool like pre-match like promo video package. So after that, the officials cuff Luchasaurus to Tully and Cash. They hate it, and so they have 3 chairs set up for them to just sit together. So Lucha's in the middle. On the other sides are Tully and Cash. They don't want to sit down with him, though, but he forces them to. So into the match, Dax got stuck in a submission hold, and of course, Cash and Tully are immediately trying to get up, get in the ring, but Lucha's like pulling them back in. And he's a big dude. He's strong enough to control these dudes, no problem. So Jungle Boy and Dax were trading like insane chops. Just a lot of really cool trade sequences in this match. Dax hit a low blow at one point right in front of the referee, like a full-blown low blow. I think he probably wasn't supposed to, though. The announcers are like, oh, it wasn't a low blow. It wasn't a low blow. It clearly was. And even Jungle Boy like sold it like a low blow. But nothing happened. When Jungle Boy's being attacked now at this point, Luchasaurus is trying to get up and help, but you know, now FTR is like, you already know the stipulation, man, get back down here. So Dax has Jungle Boy up top at one point and lands a back suplex for a near fall. There's a crazy sequence of both guys killing each other with chops, uppercuts, get each other down with clotheslines. Dax landed a slingshot powerbomb for a near fall. Jungle Boy lands a backstabber and 2 German suplexes, a big clothesline, but Dax eventually is able to get in position, lands a DDT for a near fall. After a diving crossbody from Jungle Boy, both dudes trade in near falls over and over again until Jungle Boy locks in an STF and forces Dax the Axe to tap out. Post-match was ugly. FTR get in the ring. They're free from the handcuffs since the match is over. They go right after Luchasaurus. They throw powder into his eyes to blind him. They go after Jungle Boy, landing a slingshot suplex. They get Luchasaurus and land a spike pile driver, and I think they handcuffed him to the ropes. And And actually, sorry, I forgot to mention when they got Luchasaurus with the spike pile driver. It was Tully jumping off the rope to land it. And he landed kind of hard. He like fell on everybody doing that. As I said before, FTR handcuffed Luchasaurus to the rope, and helpless Luchasaurus they snip off his horns with a pair of scissors. FTR are about to cut off Jungle Boy's hair, which imagine the riot that would ensue if that happened. But Marco Stunt, SCU, and Top Flight, all the baby faces in the back. No, just those guys came out for the save, so Jungle Boy's hair is safe. Next segment, we see Team Taz beating the shit out of the merch team. Just the merch guys in the back, the poor innocent merch guys. These guys are beating the crap out of them. Brian Cage just like takes one and just throws him directly headfirst into the AEW production truck. Ricky slams a dude right through a table, like, but not any old slam through a table. He like really whipped him in as much as a guy Ricky Starks' size can. And Taz yells to the camera and vows to beat Sting and Darby's ass at Revolution. Next match we have is Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Rebel. With Rebel facing Shauna. Shauna, I don't think we've seen her on Dynamite in a long time. I did watch a couple matches recently with her on Dark. It's nice to have her back. She's always impressed me as far as her wrestling skill. I've actually been watching her matches since before AEW, and I've always been a fan of her work, so it's nice to see her back. However, this match was like whatever. It wasn't too great or anything. Obviously, you know, it's not like the match was designed to put Shauna over in particular. It was for Britt Baker. And of course, throughout the match, Shauna's showing great technicality with like escaping holds and with her reversals. Just really cool to watch her do this stuff. And there's times in the match that Britt's like trying to emulate that, and it just isn't as good. Of course, Rebel gets involved and distracts Shanna throughout the match, which causes Britt Baker to dominate. Shauna lands a huge clothesline at one point for a 2 count. Britt Baker lands a snap-swinging neck breaker for a near fall. Shortly after she equips a glove, attempts a lockjaw. Shauna reverses into a pin and then a leaping stunner. And then she does her signature dropkick where the opponent is leaning on the lower rope. Soon, Britt is able to get Shauna in position for the lockjaw, and this ends the match. She's forced to quit. Post-match, they attack her with Rebel. Britt Baker curb stomps Shauna, locks in another lockjaw for good measure. Suddenly, we hear this music blaring, and I was like, damn, this is a kind of cool theme song. What do you know? It's Thunder Rosa's theme song. I swear, like, I feel like I never heard it before, but I loved her theme song today. I was like, damn, this is a dope track. Thunder Rosa coming out just caused Britt Baker and Rebel to go Splitsville. They left the scene. And of course, again, next week we will see them face off in a match, which we will see how that goes. I hope it'll be good. I'm not worried about Thunder Rosa being good or not. MJF is in the back looking around for Sammy Guevara. He just wants one moment to tell Sammy that Wardlow is not supposed to get involved in his last match. I gotta be honest with you, it might just be me, but I don't remember what he's talking about. Like, what match was it? I don't remember, but whatever. Apparently, Wardlow got involved in one of Sammy Guevara's matches. But Sammy's not buying it. He's not buying this, like, bullshit apology from MJF. Says that MJF has everyone fooled but him. MJF asks Sammy if this is how he wants to play. Is it? Sammy says, buddy, I ain't playing. So, these guys are not cool. I don't think they'll ever be cool. Sammy might end up leaving the Inner Circle at some point, because he told Chris Jericho, don't you remember, point blank, if MJF does any bullshit out of line, I'm going to take my headphones off, I don't really need them on, but if MJF does anything out of line, he's leaving the Inner Circle. So if he's going to stick to his word, you know, it's already, we already see that he's getting pissed at MJF every week, so we'll see how far it goes. So that led us to the segment where we cover what's going on next week. So We will see a tag team battle royal to determine the challengers for the tag team titles. We'll see Kip and Penelope's wedding, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers will face Rey Fenix, Pac, and Jon Moxley. See, I wrote it down right there. I could have remembered earlier. And they also talk about some other stuff that will be coming up in the future, like the Women's World Title Eliminator Tournament we will be seeing. They mentioned one or two of the matches. Unfortunately, I missed it. I was writing notes frantically and missed it. But yeah, we will see the Women's World Title Eliminator Tournament, which is going to be great. I am very excited to see who will be the next challenger for the Women's World Title. This brings us to our main event, which was the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers versus Dark Order. In this match, we had Evil Uno, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Stu Grayson. Before the match, Josh is in the back asking Good Brothers how does it feel to be teaming with the Young Bucks for the first time in 5 years. It actually feels like it might have even been longer, but I guess, yeah, 5 years. They're super excited, and they vow to beat up Jon Moxley. So they're bringing that WWE gimmick here to AEW. Young Bucks ask that Don Callis won't get involved. So Kenny comes in with Don Callis to confront about attacking Don Callis, because if you remember last week, at least Don made it seem as if Young Bucks had attacked him, but the Young Bucks refused to admit that they did. I think everybody's in cahoots here. That's my guess. I don't think any of these guys are lost on what's going on here. I think these guys are all trying to pull some shit off. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't think Young Bucks attacked Don Callis, but I don't think Young Bucks are necessarily the good guys either. That's just my prediction. We'll see what happens. So the match starts, and I think it was John Silver and Carl Anderson. But Silver, for some reason, was like, get me Gallows, get Gallows in the ring. I'm not sure why he would want him to, because once Gallows got in the ring, it was revealed to us that the man is like twice John Silver's size, and it was a really funny picture. So yeah, like Luke Gallows obviously is bragging to Silver, you little short dude, and he gets down on his knees, which was the biggest mistake. Silver starts teeing off on them until the Elite get the upper hand, or the Bullet Club, or whatever you want to call these guys. Grayson landed a huge crossbody after a hot tag from Reynolds, lands a Uranagi on Anderson, lands a frog splash for a near fall. Grayson's awesome. Stu Grayson, man, I kind of in a way wish he just had his own singles career, but whatever, he's doing great in Dark Order as well. But he's a fantastic wrestler. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's always the one taking the falls for Dark Order, man, it seems. He and Evil Uno. John Silver is going insane, killing all the heels 100 miles an hour. If you've seen John Silver in these big tag team matches, he just goes nuts, explodes with energy, kills everybody in the ring, knocks all the heels down off the apron, goes outside the ring, kills all of them off, bang, 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 bang. John Silver just got an incredible amount of energy. Once he got back into the ring, lands a brainbuster on Nick Jackson for a near fall. Tag team offense from Dark Order. They land the fatality on Matt Jackson, but Carl Anderson breaks the pin. Nick Jackson super kicks Uno and Grayson's head off, lands an Escalada. Carl Anderson, Nick, and Luke all powerbomb Dark Order members onto the apron. A three-way powerbombing onto the apron on each side of the apron before landing a four-way super kick on Dark Order members. Or was it just one of them? I don't quite remember. But this actually wasn't the end of the match. Evil Uno was able to break the pin. Good Brothers land a Magic Killer on Evil Uno. Young Bucks are able to land their Meltzer Driver on Grayson for the win. Post-match, we get a little promo from Matt Jackson. Says that next week at Beach Break, the winner of the Battle Royal will get a shot at the titles at Revolution. Young Bucks said that they've been inserted into the match as well. If they win, they're going to be handpicking their opponents for Revolution. Matt says it can be anybody. And while he says that, he's looking over at the Good Brothers. And So, it's not even that tense. They just do their too sweet stuff. They're all good and well. But then Ray Phoenix comes out all alone. There's 4 dudes there. It was kind of crazy that he just went out there all by himself. The heels quickly take him out. Good Brothers try landing a magic killer, but Jon Moxley comes for the save. And shortly after, Kenny Omega comes out with his, like, that boot that he's always wearing and attacking people with. And they made it look really cool because Jon Moxley's back was turned to Kenny Omega. So I just, like, assumed, okay, Jon Moxley's going to do the shit kicked out of him. But then he just suddenly turns around and paradigm shifts Kenny Omega. We all know that Moxley knows better. He's not a stupid babyface like, we get in other wrestling shows. But yeah, that was the show. That got us off the air. So overall, I was very happy with the show. I think it ended with a bang. I really enjoyed the main event. I loved seeing Jungle Boy and Dax Harwood. I also want to mention about Jungle Boy, man. His new theme song is just absolute gold. I can't wait until we have packed crowds, dude. Even here, sitting in this chair, I'm like, just going nuts, man. I'm really excited to see him blow up with that theme song. But yeah, great show. We will be back next week. Obviously, we got a big event, Beach Break. Got a big main event with Kenny Omega, Good Brothers, Moxley, Ray Phoenix, and Pac. Super excited. There's going to be some great stuff going on. Of course, Kip and Penelope's wedding. We'll see how that unfolds. And yeah, so I hope everybody has a good rest of your week. Thank you very much for watching the Pierce the Canvas podcast. We will be back. And until then, take care. Stay well. Peace out.